so welcome to the CU CineFiles Holiday Special, hosted by me, James,
Nick,
Cece,
Colin.
All right, and today we're going to be talking about what makes a Christmas movie, or a holiday movie, I guess, if we're going to be politically correct. So, really, for me, when I think about it, there are three things that make a holiday movie work. And type number one is it's set at that holiday, or it's set at Christmas. Type number two is it has thematic connections to Christmas. And type number three is it's associated with Christmas, so like you always watch it around that time. So I think we should talk about which one do you think is most important to decide if it is a holiday movie or not. Colin, do you want to start?
Sure, I'll start off. Honestly, what I think is the first one you mentioned about the Christmas-related elements. I think anytime you're putting like Santa Claus or Santa-related costumes or anything like that into a movie for an extended period of time, it's automatically going to trigger those thoughts because it's like the first thing you think of when you see that item. And I do think thematic elements are important, and the last one about being associated with Christmas, but the thematic elements, there's lots of movies that can be Christmassy but not be Christmas themed, and then association is more kind of subjective. So, that's
what would you think is like an example of a movie like that?
Okay, an example of something with like thematic elements of Christmas, in my opinion, not to bring up the elephant in the room right away, but Die Hard has some thematic Christmas elements. But then there's stuff that's more like generically Christmas, like Elf, which has the Christmas elements and it's associated with Christmas, and it has all.
And it's thematic Christmas.
Yeah, that like ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, see, that's like, for me, it has to be like thematic. Like Elf is like the quintessential example, right? Because it's literally like, he's an elf, like he's with Santa, like I don't know how much more Christmassy you can get. So I just feel like for the holidays, like you want to watch something that's associated with like what you celebrate, right? So like, for me, like I celebrate Christmas, like I want to see like presents under the tree and like snow falling, like even though I really despise Hallmark, I kind of love their Christmas movies because they all are like the same, it's always like the Christmas cookies, like the red outfits, like the snow, so.
I do understand where Colin's coming from with Die Hard, right? That's like the number one film that people are like, is it a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Is it not a Christmas movie?
It's also, there's something so satisfying about it not being like a typical Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's like an atypical thing. Like you get him writing like, what is it he writes on that guy's shirt that he throws down the thing? Like, I have a machine gun now, ho ho ho.
Oh,
yeah.
Where it's like, that's clearly like related to Christmas. They're playing Christmas themed songs in the soundtrack and stuff, but it's still an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a Christmas action movie, or is it an action movie that takes place at Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why like I think it doesn't count, because I feel like Christmas has to be happy. Like there can't be like deaths in the movie and stuff, right? Like Elf has no like sad parts. I mean, the saddest part is when like Buddy's like, my dad doesn't love me, but then it works out in the end, Where like, I don't know, I just feel like Die Hard is too like plot driven. That sounds dumb, but like I feel like it has a real purpose where like, let's be real, Christmas movies are all the same. Like there's no like deeper meaning to them. It's just like, yay, it's Christmas.
So what about a movie like Nightmare Before Christmas, where it's like, it is very concept driven of being like creepy and Tim Burton-y, I guess, is probably the best way to describe it. But it's still like thematically, it's a Christmas movie. Does that still work as a Christmas movie? Like there's Santa in it. He goes to like, there's the snowman, somebody trying to understand Christmas for the first time, but they're in Halloween Town, and they're like giving like creepy ass gifts to children.
Yeah, Jack in the Boxes.
Yeah. So is that a Christmas movie?
I think there's like the quintessential Christmas movie, which is like the Hallmark movie. It makes you feel good. It's like really easy to like just watch and not have to pay super hard attention to. But then to get to like Nightmare Before Christmas, you have to like stretch that definition. But I kind of feel like if you can stretch the definition for a Night Before Christmas, you could stretch it for Die Hard too.
Yeah.
So like you're either keeping like the rigid Hallmark movies, or you're like thinking a little grander, I guess you could say.
But you could argue that Nightmare Before Christmas is like more thematically in line with other Christmas movies, because you're right, Jack Skellington does sort of learn how to appreciate Christmas, although Die Hard, Not so sure.
Not that much. Yeah.
I just feel like, okay, but for Nightmare Before Christmas, like, the place it's set in is Halloween Town, right? Like, we spend most of our time in Halloween. Like, yes, he's going and he's like, what is this other thing? But, like, at the end, the theme is the idea that, like, I'm the Skeleton King. I'm the Halloween King, you know? He's, in the end, he's not like, I've adapted Christmas and I am now Skeleton Santa. That would be terrifying.
Nightmare Santa.
Yeah, right? You know, but I don't know. I'm very, like, stuck on just... like Christmas, it has to be like full, like the whole time is dedicated to Christmas. And
so you're thinking like one of those old Rankin Bass movies, like Rudolph or something like that, where it's like super Christmas all the time, and like it ticks all the boxes, and that's the only way it works.
So there's no half Christmas.
No, sorry.
We're also forgetting that a lot of people watch a lot of different things at Christmas time. And their motivations for doing so could be totally different. Like, I know my family likes to watch movies that aren't Christmas movies at Christmas time, just to get us away from, you know, having
the oversaturation.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, so there's that too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It complicates the what is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of discussion in like the past couple of years about the Harry Potter franchise. Because people associate that with holidays. Some people say it's like a Halloween-y movie because there's a lot of that Halloween stuff where like monsters or creatures and like witches and wizards obviously in it. But then other people say it's a Christmas movie because it's always like at a wintry time of the year, or especially the later ones are, and there's like lots of snowballs and Christmassy stuff in it. So
See, I just feel like there's a difference though between, like in that case, it's more like the memories associated with that film are Christmas, but like it can't be a Christmas movie because that's not the theme of it. Like Christmas is like, let's say we're looking at genres, right? You know, like you wouldn't call Mary Poppins a horror film because you watched it around Halloween.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that would be super weird, but I feel like it's the same with those films. It's like, just because you're like, oh, my family always watches it at this time, doesn't mean like the theme, like Harry Potter isn't like Santa Claus and magic and like, I almost said Dumbledore, I meant to say Voldemort, but I mean same thing.
I guess you could argue though that like what makes a holiday is the traditions around it, right? So like Halloween is Halloween because we go trick-or-treating. Christmas is Christmas because of the things we do. So if one of the things that we do on Christmas is watch a specific movie, doesn't that make it part of the holiday tradition, at least for that family? So you could, I mean, that's a kind of workaround way to say it, but you could still argue that Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings are Christmas movies.
But I feel like that's like one isolated like family, because I feel like a Christmas movie is trying to take like the overarching themes of like all these ideas where like my family, like they hate Harry Potter. Like we would never watch that for Christmas, you know? Where like your family might do that but and like hate Elf, right? And like never watch Elf, but like we watch Elf like 24/7. So
I think something that was interesting when you guys mentioned like movies come out at a specific time. I remember, besides this year, because they released Solo in the summer, the Star Wars movies were releasing like in December 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if anyone necessarily would consider those a Christmas movie, even though they're always coming out around Christmas. But like it became a tradition almost in a way because they've been doing it year after year. You're like, oh, it's Christmas time, new Star Wars, whether it's like, you know, the later ones or the in-between ones.
yeah,
That's a good
So
point.
that's another thing.
that's true. I feel like though a lot of people like holidays are so different for everyone, because like for me personally, like we always spend time with family, like it's very like traditional, like we're Catholic so we like go to church, where like other people I know they spend their Christmas like they go to the movies all day or they like go bowling. So I think that's hard too, because like we were saying, like what is a Christmas tradition?
Right.
Like I guess there is no like solid Christmas tradition.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just starting to think now, like, I wonder, you know, how many people would say that their kind of, like, idea of what Christmas is has been, like, crafted because of these movies like Elf and Home Alone. And, you know, I never go ice skating at Christmas, but I totally agree with you when you said ice skating is a Christmas thing.
All the way back to like the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
that starts with ice skating.
Yeah, I think that has to do with all of our media though, because like I think about Christmas music, right? It's always singing about Christmas caroling, ice skating, being by the fire. Like these are things like I don't go Christmas caroling. I don't have a fireplace in my house, you know. But I think
You're not eating roasted chestnuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's like these ideals, because I think another big one too is like love and like for Christmas time, right?
Or
like
family.
totally.
But not like Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yeah. But I was even thinking of like the most popular Christmas song ever, right? Mariah Carey's literally is about like,
constant one, yeah.
you know, like I think it's been the like top Christmas song since it came out in like what, 93?
I have no idea.
95, somewhere around
amazing.
there.
Not a Mariah
Yeah,
story.
for real, like nothing's topped it, which is insane, but you think like why? Well, it's talking about snow, presents, a love, you know? Like,
So it like ticks off all the stereotype boxes, and that's why it works.
yeah.
So is that what a Christmas movie needs to have? Does it need to like follow the checklist of like, okay, we got a snowball fight, check. We got ice skating, we got hot cocoa, we got fireplaces, and we got a romance plot. They
Yeah.
learn the true meaning of Christmas. And
Yeah.
That's a Christmas movie. Or is there? I don't know, because I feel like that's a decent Christmas movie, but a really good Christmas movie does something different. I don't know. Like you have to break the mold somehow. Like that's what Elf did to a degree. Like
Yeah.
it kind of broke the stereotypes, and that's why it became a modern classic.
That's what I was gonna say with Elf, as you mentioned the Mariah Carey song being like top since '93, and then Elf has been like top since 2004. So I
Yeah.
feel like once like you nail the Christmas thing, it lasts until like it
Something
becomes
else,
like
something.
really outdated. Like comedy in Elf is way different than comedy in like National Lampoon's Christmas, and like it's just that modern type of comedy that hasn't changed like a ton in the last 15 years. So that's why I think it like lasts. But it's like only Christmas movies that last like this, which is what's weird about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like not to be cliche, but it's all very like personal. Like film is personal. Because I was thinking about like we always watch A Christmas Story because like that's my grandpa's favorite film ever, right? And I just read an article that like they're gonna stop showing it on certain networks because it has a bullying scene.
Yeah.
And like people like don't. I know it's ridiculous, but literally like.
TBS is like not showing it or something.
Yeah. So it made me think of like how like societies like, you know, Elf is really popular with our generation, but like our kids' generation I'm sure will have something else out that's like
Yeah.
probably gonna be in VR and simulate snow falling on you or something.
It's the Fortnite Christmas special.
So is Christmas like generational then? Is what like we're trying to conclude here? Because if you think about it, like you said, like our generation or like the generation before, like do they stick to one Christmas item, like a song or movie, and then once the next generation comes, that's when it becomes.
Yeah, it's exactly like Baby It's Cold Outside. It's good that you brought it up because that is so generational.
Yeah.
Like our generation listens to that song in like the wake of the Me Too movement, and it's like, it's probably not okay.
Yeah.
But like our grandparents are like, oh, that's a swell Christmas song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandpa, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Is it generational? Is it like even if you go even smaller? Is it by family? Because like we said about traditions or different parts of the world or movies that maybe a certain family enjoys. I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer.
So we've solved nothing.
But I guess
Got
that's
no
the
answers,
point,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all keep Christmas in our hearts, not in our films.
That's true.
That's such a cop out.
We gotta come up with the.
Yeah.
That was our heartwarming
Right?
end.
Yeah. So happy holidays from us to you.
Happy holidays.
From the CU CineFile.
From the CU CineFiles.
Speaking of food, one of the most infamous Christmas stories in my house is how one year, so my family kind of gets up pretty late. We like to sleep in, and so we get up around like 11 to do the unboxing of presents. And so sometimes my parents will like put out a little bit of food. Sometimes it's breakfast food. One year, my parents put out like a cheese platter type thing, just to have on the table, just to nosh on.
Yeah.
And so we have this dog named Murphy, who's just
came out at 8.
he's just the worst dog ever. And he was kind of prowling, but he wasn't like, going after the food or anything. So we all get distracted because I think my sister got like a bike or something like kind of big, and it required us to go to the garage for her to unbox it and stuff. So we all went to the garage, and when we came back, there was a cheese wheel that was there that was no longer. Murphy had eaten an entire cheese wheel with the plastic on it. And he just,
I loved it.
he was by the tree looking like he was kind of rocking back because he wasn't sure what to do. And my dad was just so mad, and he basically picked him up and ran to the door, opened the door, and like threw him outside. Murphy just started puking everywhere outside.
At least you got him outside for.
Yeah,
It
right.
was so gross. So now we always have the story of Murphy and the Christmas tree.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
Yeah, barely. No, just
The cheese has yet to kill him.
Yeah, right.
The cheese wheel took 10
Yeah.
years off his life.
yeah, basically.